You're good. You don't want that one?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I waited. Let it go. Okay, you're all set.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Cheney?
Here.
Trustee Foster? Here. Mayor Newhart?
Here.
Trustee Calora?
Here.
Trustee McKnight?
Here.
Stephen Gaba?
Present.
Okay, may I have a motion to accept the minutes of October 7th and October 15th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to accept the following reports: September 2024 Clerk's Office, Tax Collections, Justice Department, Planning Department, and Department of Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And may I have a motion for authorization to pay all approved and audited claims in the amount of $415,024.06.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Chief is not here this evening. I just want to also point out to people who are visiting us from the town, Councilman Mickey Schubeck. Mickey?
Kevin,
Thank you.
sorry, Kevin.
I mean, did I say Mickey? I'm sorry.
Wrong feedback.
He's much better looking.
Much wiser, too.
If you see him, please give him my best.
I'll
He's
see you later on.
definitely one of my favorite people. And Tom Mattingly, thank you, Tom, for coming this evening. The first piece on the agenda is a public hearing on proposed local law number 7 of the year 2024 to amend the village code by enacting chapter 115 entitled short-term rental property. So do we have more of a public notice than what I just said, or is that
Yes.
it? That's it? Okay.
No, we have a legal.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Please take notice that the Village Board of the Village of Warwick will hold a public hearing on the 21st day of October 2024 at 7:30 p.m. at Village Hall, 77 Main Street, Warwick, New York, 10990, on a proposed local law number 7 of the year 2024 to amend the village code by enacting Chapter 115 entitled Short-Term Rental Property. The purpose of this local law is to promote the public health, safety, and welfare by establishing a municipal registration and permit requirement for all short-term rental units within the boundaries of the Village of Warwick, and by enacting regulations for the administration and enforcement of the village's permitting requirement. A copy of the proposed local law is on file in the office of the village clerk and is available for inspection by interested persons during village clerk's business hours. The proposed local law has also been posted on the village's website, www.villageofwarwick.org. The village board at the above date and time and place hear all persons interested in the subject matter hereof. Persons may appear in person or by agent. All written communications addressed to the board must be received by the board at or prior to the public hearing.
Okay, great, thank you, Raina. And I just want to comment, we've received 2 comments, one from the planning board, and the other from Patrick Gallagher, I'm sorry, Patrick. And so I'll open it up to the board. If you'd like to speak to the board, to the audience, speak to the board, please, this is your moment. Yes, Patrick.
Patrick Gallagher. I'm going to sit to address the board. I wrote on the 9th. I didn't hear anything back, so I'm hoping to get some clarification today. Is this already finished? Is everything baked in? Is there any likelihood that you're going to change what you have considered and put together?
That's what a public hearing is about, Patrick. I mean, the idea is...
Michael, you don't have to lecture me. I completely understand
Yeah,
the
and-
business of a public hearing. Having had some experience in the past here, as you know, we all know, I haven't found the public hearings to be that effective, so I'm asking specifically to find out if there is room for any changes. So I take that as a yes.
There, yeah.
Yeah.
As we,
Yeah,
Maybe
in
Steve
fact, I don't mean to interject, but
please do.
at the last meeting I attended anyway,
the board decided to put this out for public hearing, even though there was some question about a few of the terms and whether they wanted to fine tune it or not. The idea was to get input from the public to see if the concerns of the public were similar to the concerns that the board was, trying to deal with in determining whether to go, for example, a 1-year permit or a 2-year permit was one of the things that was
Okay.
discussed. The number of days for reporting changes was another thing.
May I speak to the points that I'm
Yeah, give the
interested
floor,
in? Because
please.
those points don't mean that much to me. What I'm interested in is, I'm a senior aging in place in a legal two-family, completely up to date. I've got 375 fabulous reviews from people. I bring a lot of money into the village because of my location. I'm about to apply for the senior tax exemption. I've never had a problem with parking or garbage or people or anything. And I really don't understand why you would be trying to regulate my B&B. How many of the people running B&Bs in the village, do you know how many of the people running B&Bs in the village fall into the category that I do? How many seniors, how many individual homes, has that been researched?
This isn't really a question and answer, as you commented before.
I did, yeah,
Yes,
but how do I
and-
get an
and-
answer? 'Cause I wrote on the 10th or the 9th and I haven't heard. I don't know how to get an answer.
I will take your comments and see if we can come up with answers for those, but not tonight in this,
Okay,
in
well, that's
this,
fine.
in this
Can we
format.
have maybe a private conference of some sort? Because,
Sure, of course we can.
you know,
My office is always
7 years ago, I
open.
begged this board to have oversight down at 16 Elm. I don't want to bring up a sore subject or beat a dead horse, but there's 2 pages of violations down there from the engineer's report that you hired. It's shameful. The newspaper article in the Advertiser indicated that the town or village planning board lawyer had reviewed the situation and said there were multiple iterations of the law that they had written. And rather than have an iteration, rather than have a change down the road, I would like to be exempted and have you guys know how many other people fall into my category, rather than come to my house, inspect it, tax me effectively. So that's really all I gotta say. I'll call Raina and see if we can set
That
up
would
a
be
meeting
fine.
of some sort.
Right, that would be great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And Patrick, just to understand, it's hard to create legislation because we have to do rather a blanket. I mean, it's not.
Oh, Michael, I do understand.
Let me just complete my thought. And, it is, for example, I remember quite candidly when we were creating a Warwick Grove zoning, and the developer came in and said, listen, I'm going to do a great job. Well, we had to back up and say, you know what, we can't zone for you doing a great job. We have to zone for the developer who may be below par, who's going to do a terrible job. And so you do understand, what
I
I'm,
completely understand. I also understand that you're able to make categorical exemptions.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that time and again. Some of them are on the books. Some of them are just looking the other way. I mean, you guys can look to your right and see the Chamber of Commerce, but in the same seats, you can't see West Street, Van Buren, Howe, Division, Factory, John. You can't see those streets, and they were not seen in the past when, in other circumstances. So I'd really like to, have a nice discussion about it. I think that you guys do a tremendous amount of good work. But I think there are deficiencies, and I think it affects the residents. And that the Chamber of Commerce, the businesses, God bless them, I'm contributing to them. I'm participating in the local economy. But we're not getting the attention that the consideration that you would give to those organizations. So that's my feeling, maybe right, maybe wrong. I want to repeat, I think you guys do a lot of good work. A lot of good work, and I know it's not easy work, and I know it's not easy to create legislation. But I do think that the residents get short shrift pretty regularly. You got a building down on 16 Elm that's 150% bigger than the stamped plans. How did that happen? We begged you guys. to have more oversight. 2 pages of violations. So, thanks. And I'm not saying that facetiously, I mean it. Thank you for your time. Good night.
All right. Anyone else? Board?
I'll make my comments when we discuss it as a motion.
Okay, very good.
Do we have to keep it open if he wants to meet with the mayor?
Oh, no, not at all. You can close the public hearing. There is one thing, though. Candidly, I did not think the board was gonna be in a position to act on this tonight. And if you, oh, you're not going to?
Well, it's on the agenda, but I didn't think we were either. And the reason is that I want to look closely at the planning board's comments. And I feel that those are critical to the overall
Then
legislation.
everything is Jake.
Unless,
Okay.
Barry, did you have a burning desire to make this legislation tonight?
No,
Okay.
I was just gonna read what was listed under my name.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'd be more than happy to withdraw it when the time comes.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Okay. So should we keep it open?
Well, the purpose of the public hearing is to receive input from the public on this particular local law.
Yeah.
You've received written comments from the planning board, received one oral comment anyway. If you feel that you're going to receive additional comments from the public, then you might want to keep it open. If you feel that they've had an opportunity to comment on it, then you might want to close it.
I think we should keep it open, and the reason why I say that is that we are public right now. Tonight, we're live streaming, and many people are catching up or haven't seen it. So it is an opportunity to give a window that other comments can be made.
That's just fine. Then
Yeah.
you should have a motion to hold the public hearing open to, and you should name a date certain. That way you don't have to notice it again.
Okay.
I do have a question. I'm disappointed he left because I was curious about the response to, like, would we issue categorical exclusions or exemptions to this?
He's talking about grandfather.
He wants to be
Yeah.
grandfathered in, but there's no mechanism currently included in here to grandfather.
Well, no, I don't know how that would work, to be honest.
And
with
I
you.
don't, I think, yeah, I think it would violate the purposes of this because part of the purpose of the law is to, I mean, yes, it's to facilitate the economic support for homeowners, but also ensure safety and building code compliance. So if you're generating income off of your home and from people that are people sleeping in your home, they're visitors, they're not staying there year round, they're extremely vulnerable. Like, I don't know how you can issue an exclusion, like an exemption
Yeah, I
for
don't
someone
know.
just based on senior status. So
No,
obviously we as a board would have to discuss like comments like that, as well.
Well, I don't think you'd do it based on senior status. I think it would be something along the lines of existing short-term rentals are exempt. And then after that, you'd have to pare it down because I don't know how you could do it. The property couldn't carry forward. There'd be subsequent owners. I mean, it would go forward, just forever. You really don't want that.
His written comment didn't mention grandfathering. His written comment mentioned a number of factors that he falls into, like age and performance, past performance relative to his unit. So, at
Well,
least that was my
You might be talking
interpretation.
about crafting a waiver provision then. Is the law still applicable, but we'll waive it as to people who meet this, that, and the third criteria.
I don't know.
But again, I think it would be very difficult to craft something like that.
Well, and then we would not be achieving the goals of the
And of
the
course, you're
regulation.
undermining the purpose of the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
The other thing that we are looking at is coordinating this with a program for specifically for monitoring and administrating short-term rentals, and it's through Municity. And so the thought is that is to have that up and running once we once we agree upon this as legislation, because otherwise we'd be doing, we'd start on a trajectory and then we'd have to shift, so it would make sense just to do it all at once, so,
It's certainly the easiest.
yeah. Tom, do you want to speak to that at all?
So we're not in a place yet where we could, I think, administer this in a way that is not going to overwhelm the front office here and the building department.
Right,
We still need to see if Municity is the right solution. We need to understand the costs of it. So even if we were to go ahead with this in the short term, I don't think Village Hall is prepared for that.
right,
Which is why I think leaving it open for the time being makes sense. But Steve, you mentioned we need to have a date certain in order not to have to renotice it.
Yeah, because otherwise, you can just adjourn it without date, but then you have to publish again and post again.
well, we can close the public hearing and then have a determination at a later date, can't we?
Well, you could, but I would, if you're thinking of coming back, the thing to do is to adjourn it. Now,
Or-
you can adjourn it to next month's meeting, or
Right.
you can adjourn it without date.
Right.
If you adjourn it to next month's meeting, you're obligated to take it up at next month's meeting,
But then we could adjourn it again if we need to.
of course.
Or we could add something to the motion that this would be put in place once the administrative module is up and running, correct?
Yes, to the resolution, you would add that, the resolution adopting it.
Yeah,
And if you wanted to change the text of it, that would be fine too, but that you would have to renotice for if you change the text. If you don't change the text, then it's enough that you announce it'll be at a future date. If you change the text,
Okay.
you're gonna have to publish.
okay, so it's just then a,
Not of the resolution, of the
No.
law, you understand.
yeah, I understand.
If you look at the planning board comments, of the list of 5, one of them
Is that, yeah,
was looking at workload and resources,
Yeah.
which I agree with.
Yeah. That was a good comment.
Because if you think about it, it's not just a matter of collecting the application, ensuring everything's there, the fee, but there's also the inspection
right,
and scheduling those. There's implementation details we need to figure out ahead of time.
yeah.
So I still don't understand if we just kept it open to next meeting, and then next meeting decide to keep it open again, is that an issue?
No, that's just fine. As long as you set the date of next month's meeting that you're gonna adjourn the public hearing to.
Okay,
So we
I mean,
just have to add that to the motion.
by appearances, it seems inefficient kicking the can down the road, but we don't have to notice it, it'll be on the agenda, people can see it as a topic that they can contribute to.
Yeah, it's not
Over the
kicking
next
the
few
can
months.
down the road, I don't think.
It just is allowing for
Yeah.
more,
Putting on-
Yeah,
for
on-
more
it's
comment
allowing us time to
if need be.
respond to the planning board's comments, and then also, to Patrick Gallagher's comments.
okay,
Was there anybody else that wanted to comment?
don't believe so.
No, okay. Other than trustee Cheney?
Well, it'd just be a rehashing of things we've already talked about.
Yeah, okay. So we'll move on.
Well, don't we need a motion to?
I was gonna put that in motions, but should we make a motion now?
I would do it right now,
Yeah,
public
okay.
hearing.
So, Barry, you wanna take a stab?
I'll make a motion to keep the public hearing for short-term rental open until November 4th, 2024.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
You know,
Aye.
at the second meeting, not the first meeting. I won't be here for the first meeting.
November 18th.
18th then.
I'll amend that to the 18th.
Okay,
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, onward to announcements, and Mary Clora, would you please do the first one?
Oh no, I had it open, now we have to scroll.
36, Mary, I think.
I'm-
Page 36.
Okay, got it.
Okay,
Call to Artists mural project for the new visitor center. The Village of Warwick is excited to announce a unique opportunity for local artists. We have received a grant from Orange County Legislator for an interior mural to be displayed in the new visitor center at 75 Main Street. Project details. Theme, an interpretive map of the town of Warwick highlighting points of interest, including villages, hamlets, orchards, wineries, breweries, distilleries, and historic sites. Art style, we are looking for a whimsical interpretation of these tourist-related and historical sites. Artwork specifications, the selected artist will create a piece that will be enlarged to 6 feet high by 8 feet long, reproduced on a vinyl surface and wall mounted. Submission guidelines. Artists may submit up to 3 samples of their work electronically. Please send your submissions to clerk@villageofwarwick.org and include mural project in the subject line. We will not accept any physical submissions. Honorarium. The selected artist will receive a $2,000 honorarium for their work. Deadline. All submissions must be received by November 1st, 2024. We look forward to seeing your creativity and celebrating the beauty of Warwick through this mural. Thank you, the Village of Warwick.
And I believe you mentioned it, but that is from a grant that we received from Orange County Legislature. And we're very grateful to have that grant, and I think it will truly enhance the visitor center and experience. So we're looking forward. We've already started receiving application or submissions, and so I think it's going to be fun. So, and then Barry, I won't take this away from you. Go ahead.
Please take notice that on-street parking within the Village of Warwick is prohibited between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. from November 1st through April 1st.
Okay. And so there's no motion on that, and then Carly, the next announcement.
The Village of Warwick has been awarded a grant in the amount of $734,500 associated with the creation of the Patriots Path at Veterans Memorial Park, as well as additional improvements associated with the Veterans Memorial Park Master Plan. And this has been issued through Senator James Skoufis's office. So we thank the Senator's office. There is still documentation that must be developed in order to fully secure that grant, but that's funding that has been allocated to the village to implement portions of that park master plan.
That's
Very
great.
excited.
Yes, all that work on that master plan was well worth it, because we were ready to show the senator some pretty interesting and important projects, and he thought that project was great and important to fund. So we're lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really excited about it.
And we'll open it up to public comments on agenda items only.
Did you want to just run through the correspondence?
Oh, did I skip to that?
You skipped the
I'm
correspondence.
so sorry. I've had a long week, and
Did you want
it's
me
only
to do
Monday.
Did you want me to do the Halloween things again? too?
Oh, yes, if you don't mind, just a quick run through of all things Halloween that are happening in the village. Yeah,
Okay,
thank
all
you.
things Halloween happening in the Village of Warwick. We have Scare the Mayor contest, which judging will take place on Wednesday, October 30th, starting at 7 p.m. If you would like to register, you could call Village Hall at 845-986-2031 or email clerk@villageofwarwick.org. We have the Halloween Parade and Costume Contest. Lineup will take place on High Street at 4:30 p.m. and the parade will kick off at 5 p.m. and proceed down Main Street to Railroad Avenue, where a costume contest with prizes will take place on Railroad Avenue. And then the Village of Warwick Halloween House Self-Guided Tour is available on the Village's Facebook page and on the website. This is a little map that shows you all the Halloween decorated houses. That's really fun. And then the Halloween curfew and road closures. I will read this. Between the hours of 9 p.m. on Wednesday, October 30th to 6 a.m. Thursday, October 31st. And then again on Thursday, October 31st from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Friday, November 1st, 2024. The village will once again close off Oakland Court, Welling Ave, Orchard Street, and Linden Place on Thursday, October 31st from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. High Street will be closed on October 31st from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. for parade lineup.
Great, thank you, Mary.
Yep.
Under correspondence this evening, we have a report from Village Engineer Jason Pitangaro on the application by Elite Strategies requesting outside sewer service for 10 Clinton Avenue Extension, Section 52, Block 1, Lots 9 and 10.2. And a report from Village Attorney Stephen Gaba on the application by Elite Strategies requesting outside outside sewer service for 10 Clinton Avenue Extension, Section 52, Block 1, Lots 9 and 10.2. And a report from the Village Attorney Stephen Gaba on the petition for a zone change of 1 Galloway Heights Road and 4 Overlook Drive. And with that, public comment is the next thing on the block, if anybody would like to speak to us on agenda items only. So. Dan, I'll bring you up in just a minute when we get to the motion. Thank you. Okay, no comments, so we'll move forward with motions.
Withdraw the first motion.
Okay,
Number 2, resolution approving outside user agreement. Whereas the Village Board of the Village of Warwick has received a request from the owner of 10 Clinton Avenue Extension, Tax Map Section 52, Block 1, Lots 9 and 10.2, to enter into an outside user agreement to provide municipal central, should say sewer service to the said property, and whereas the said property is located outside of the boundaries of the village in the town of Warwick, and whereas a proposed outside user agreement has been prepared, a copy of which is attached here too, and whereas the village board is willing to enter into the said outside user agreement based on the terms and conditions set forth therein, now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the village board hereby agrees to enter into the annexed outside user agreement conditioned upon submission of engineering connection plans acceptable to the village's engineering consultants, payment of the required sewer service application fee, as well as all other applicable fees in compliance with the terms and conditions recited in the outside user agreement. 2, that the property owner shall submit a TP-584 form and shall be responsible for payment of all fees necessary for recording the outside user agreement in the office of the county clerk. And 3, that the village board hereby authorizes the mayor to execute the outside user agreement and all documents necessary to effectuate the terms therein.
okay. And can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. And Dan, I'll give you the floor at this moment.
Okay, so we received the comment letters from, and read through them, and in general, just wanted to say, I was out there this morning with members of the DPW, because Jason Pitangaro had brought up some questions about an existing sewer manhole that is on the applicant's property. It's actually the applicants are here tonight, Etta and Jonathan Hamilton, and that we were not planning on using, and Jason brought up a good point that if we are not using it, it should not remain connected to the village's sewer. After taking a closer look at it, I definitely agree with that. We would propose to remove the unused sewer manhole, and from the measurements that have been taken by the surveyor and by us, I believe we'll have that we'll be able to provide revised plans for Jason's review that would be able to make an effective connection to the sewer system.
Okay, great.
I think that's already covered by the submission of plans acceptable to the engineering consultants. I don't think you need to do anything in regard to that. I mean, you can if you want, obviously, but I think it would be covered.
What was the part about needing to move it 20 feet north?
That was there's an existing water line, and the existing water line, a portion of it which is on their property is to be relocated, and so Jason was complaining about, bringing up the issue of the point of connection between the existing line and where the new line will connect to it. And I had shown that maybe 3 feet off of the proposed sewer line. He's saying that should be over 10 feet from there. I agree with him, and we'll adjust the plans accordingly.
Oh, okay, so you're removing, what do you do, cap off the old line,
It's
sewer line?
This is actually about the water line. I have a map if that helps.
Or the water, I'm sorry, I thought you said in your statement, that you looked at where the sewer manhole was and it would be
Right.
used, so
Yes.
what do you do, cap that underground
Oh.
and remove the manhole altogether?
Yes, so the unused manhole will be removed, and the line that was going from that manhole into the village's manhole will be removed and replaced. So, we'll provide details. That was another of Jason's comments, to provide a more detailed detail. We provided a detail, but provide more details of how that connection will be made in the actual sewer. So yes, the idea is that there will only remain uncapped, the new connection, old connections will be removed and capped, yeah.
Thanks.
Did you want to see the map?
I would like to see if you don't mind.
This.
So this continues, there's the match line. The sewer manhole to be removed is here. And the new line will run, sewer line will run from the building down here, across, and into the village's manhole there. So part of it will be running in where there's an existing line, but the existing line is a 4-inch, whereas we want to put in a 6-inch line at different elevations.
Oh, right, okay.
And
And it's away from all the wetlands, it seems. Yeah.
correct, and then that water connection you were talking about before, that's here. There's an existing water line coming into the building there. It would be rerouted here and kept wherever possible over, except for in locations where they cross over 10 feet horizontally from the sewer. That's a engineering standard.
That's right. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Steve, everything with Jason's comments and your comments are all reflected in the agreement?
Well, there are some changes that need to be made actually to the agreement. In fact, I think there are 3. Barry was gonna address them before you vote on this resolution.
Question, Dan. Is it gonna require a DEC sewer extension permit to add this to the system?
So my understanding is no, because this is a single user line from the existing building to the village's manhole.
Okay, good. All right. I just wanted to make sure that it didn't get overlooked.
Right, we're not proposing to add any new manholes to the, or sewer mains to the village's system.
You said the water line's already there, and just extending it, right?
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Like a 2-inch water line, is it?
No, I believe it's a 3/4 inch line.
Oh, okay. And that's good for sprinklers and everything inside?
So we haven't, I don't believe we've designed the sprinklers yet.
I don't think code-wise you do, but
My-
that's,
yeah.
That's a good
Because it's
question.
one, because it's one
let's
story, I
see.
think I talked to the fire inspector before, and he said it did not need sprinklers because it's
Okay.
only one level.
Yeah, I believe on the architectural plans I saw they had extinguishers but not
Right.
sprinklers shown.
Yeah.
so there are a few things that we potentially want to add, and we don't want to hold you guys up, but, so in the spirit of that, Barry, do you want to?
Yeah, I think one of them was, and I believe you've already agreed to this, to allow for an emergency access
Right.
to the property that fronts on, by Double S Smokehouse on Route 94. And it's, for the, I guess, purposes of clarity, it's 229 -1-2, so section, block, and lot. That's correct, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
And it'll be gated, nobody will be able to use it unless there's an emergency.
Unless there's an emergency.
And we have a number of those throughout the village
Yes.
that work in that manner. And then,
Within the agreement, there's a clause for
Right.
payment, but it's not, we were gonna remove it because we're already, what you would be doing is paying out of village fees.
user rates,
User rates.
Yes.
yes.
And in the, what we have before us tonight expresses about using, having village, in village fees and then making whole at a certain time of the year. Well, that wouldn't, you wouldn't have to do that.
But that wouldn't be removing, it would be revising.
You're
it.
revising it, okay, thank you.
And then, to the actual motion itself, we would like to ask you to consider amending it with a new whereas that would say that you would make a good faith effort to consider and discuss with the village the possibility of annexation of your property into the village.
I think that was something that Elizabeth talked about, and she said that that might be something that we would visit, but after
Yes.
we got
Yes.
approval.
Yes, yes,
Absolutely,
yes,
yeah.
definitely, yeah. So it'd be a whereas to the motion tonight that basically says that.
Not the
that-
motion, to the contract.
To the contract?
Yeah, to the
Oh,
outside
okay,
agreement.
I'm sorry, misunderstood, okay, to the
It doesn't
to the
obligate you to
agreement.
do anything, you
Right.
understand, it just recites that you've represented, that you're going to look into it, and we expect you to move forward in good faith. If something comes of it, great, if nothing comes of it, so be it, but.
Sure.
Right, yes, as long as it's after being able to start up to.
Yeah, well, we understand exactly
Right.
where you are,
Yeah.
like almost at the finish line.
Right.
So we're not going to knock the horse down. But we truly think that it would be in the best interest for everyone as a community, and hopefully your neighbors would be part of that too, so that it's a greater discussion potentially, so.
Yeah.
And-
Well, it's good to know we've then one part of that research is already done, that we know what the village board thinks about it.
Yeah.
And then there's just one other thing with it being the end of the village street. In the winter, snow plowing becomes an issue, and so I'd just like to have something embodied in the user agreement that indicates that there'll be cooperation between yourselves and the village relative to coming up with a plan for snow plowing.
Yeah, we discussed that already as far as if they need a turnaround or anything. We do have a loop there, they can completely use that space or that track at any
Okay.
point without any discussion.
Okay, who have you had that discussion with?
Elizabeth has, I believe, written up a plan for that in her,
Yeah, I know Elizabeth
Okay.
Casti was working on the easement language for
Easement
that,
language
for
for
the
that.
village, and in the meantime, also on maintenance agreement language with the neighbors, and for setting
Yeah.
up responsibilities to fall on the owners of the property.
Right.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, the existing curb stop water valve, is that gonna get moved, or is that gonna stay where it is?
That's intended to stay. That's
Okay,
not-
so that's much further onto the property than normally exists. So there may need to, and I'm not sure, I don't know whether this drawing represents it, where the village's water main ends and what the size of that water main is before the curb stop.
It's not on these plans.
Yeah,
I have to research it.
So I think we just need to kind of come to an agreement, and there may need to be an easement if our water main extends onto your property, so that we have access to be able to do whatever we need.
Of course, we would do the same thing for Orange or Rockland or anybody else that needs to get over into that property or even behind.
Yeah.
If they needed to get through, we would definitely have Elizabeth write that into the,
Yeah.
as an easement for any public service to go through.
And do you know whether there's a light on the pole on your property that shines towards the building? Is that something that, I would assume that's something that you're paying for as
Yeah, I
the
think so.
property
I
owner?
think there's a light up there, but it's not operational right now.
Oh, it's not?
It is not.
Okay.
It's completely dark over there at night, but when we go through the engineering on the lighting system afterwards, I'm pretty sure Chris Collins has a plan for that.
Okay.
As far as night lighting and also that pole area, so it's not overwhelming.
Right.
At
Oh,
the
right,
night, at
yeah.
the nighttime with the, being in that area, it might have even some type of motion type thing, so if it's motion, it comes on, if it's not, it'll probably be
Right. Right.
dim lighting just around the building,
Right.
not around there.
Because aside from that light, there's no other street light until you get to the intersection with
Right.
Galloway.
Galloway.
So,
Just not to disturb any of the neighbors, also
Right.
to have a bright type light there.
Yeah.
I think we talked about, when we were talking about that with Chris Collins, he understands that.
okay.
I think he's done a lot of that work with the village and the town before actually writing that agenda or whatever what did he say, he was
Architecture.
the architectural
Review.
so he's written a lot of that, so he knows about the lighting and what to expect,
What's appropriate lighting.
what's appropriate lighting for an area like that in facing a residential. And one thing that we also look like, the architecture itself, we wanna make sure that it looks more residential than commercial. We don't want it to look like ShopRite over there. So, he's definitely, we put a lot of emphasis on that with him,
Yeah.
and he completely understands that it needs to look more like the firehouse on South Street Extension.
Yeah.
It needs to look like that more than a box with some lights around
Sure.
it,
Well, you're in good hands with Chris. He's a very good architect. He's very gifted. And there's a lot of lighting options that they call them dark sky lighting. And it really brings the light down as opposed to,
Brightening it
throwing it
all
all over the neighborhood. So, very good. So, sir,
Just amend your motion to approve the outside user agreement, subject to those changes that you've just discussed.
Also, should we amend it for item 4 to say Hamilton agrees to pay sewer fees as an out-of-village user?
I'm going to revise the document to incorporate all the changes you just
Oh,
discussed.
okay.
And those will be made prior to
right.
anybody signing them.
So
I know that's
I'll-
kind of time sensitive, we'll get those done right away.
I'll make the motion to amend as our attorney stated it.
very good.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All the efficiency.
All right, thank you.
Very good, thank you, thank you.
And in terms of showing to the town planning board, is there a resolution that'll be written up, or should I send them provisional minutes, or what would be the easiest way to?
There will be a resolution written up, but if you want to, I don't know what what the calendar for the next planning board meeting is.
November 20th is the next planning board.
We should have,
You should have your agreement in place, but you can get a copy of the minutes and submit them. I don't know if they need to be certified or not, but it'll be easy enough if that's what you need.
Okay, great, thank you.
okay, thank you.
Chris,
Thank you.
You too. Okay. Oh, boy. Barry, you're getting a little
Still on?
workout tonight.
Yeah, Barry is getting a workout.
All right, well, the workout's gonna get a lot easier. I'm gonna make a motion for the village board to waive the reading of the bond resolution.
Second.
Second. I mean,
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm not so sure about that.
You're outvoted.
Okay.
Thanks for
Yay.
sticking with me, gang. Motion
I wouldn't
to
do that
adopt
to
the resolution authorizing the issuance of $575,770 in bonds of the Village of Warwick, Orange County, New York, to pay the cost of the replacement of lead service lines in and for the village.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
No, it should be a roll call vote.
Oh, it should be. I didn't
Yeah, I
get
mean,
down
they
that
do-
far, sorry.
Would it be helpful just to go back
Maybe just to share
and
background.
give the background?
If you want to throw the EFC under the bus, go ahead.
Well, it seems that there was some question relative to the village's eligibility, and the way that this is going to be addressed is that eligibility for the grant that we initially believed we received, and so the way around it is going to be that we will go out, bond this $575,770, or whatever we spend up to that amount, and the EFC will then pay off the costs of the bond.
Correct. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, any other questions from the board?
I mean, do you have that in a written agreement from
Yes.
the EFC?
Well, yes. That's what this is all about, too. Yeah. Okay, so we have a second. We have a roll call.
Okay. Trustee Cheney?
Yes.
Trustee Foster?
Yes.
Trustee McKnight?
Yes.
Trustee Flora?
Yes.
Mayor Newhart?
Yes. Okay. Carly?
Motion to add Aaron Bernhardt to the recreation special event staff list at a rate of $15 per hour for the 2024-2025 Halloween parade, Christmas Eve service, and Easter egg hunt per the recommendation of Village of Warwick Recreation Director Ron Intraini.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Tom?
I have a motion to return the village board escrow of $3,204.40 to Joe Iracy for the 15 Elm Street Warwick feeding grain petition for zone change that was granted in 2021. All invoices have been paid as per the village attorney and engineer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to return the village board escrow balance of $3,206.72 to Jane Newman for the Pioneer Farm outside water and sewer agreements that were filed with the Orange County Clerk's Office on January 18, 2022. All invoices have been paid as per the village attorney and engineer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to return the village board escrow balance of $1,701.50 to Hathorn House LLC for the 21 Hathorn Road outside water agreement that was filed with the Orange County Clerk's Office on January 6, 2020. All invoices have been paid as per the village attorney and engineer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Two more. Motion to return the village board escrow balance of $5,000 to St. Anthony Community Hospital for the 15 Maple Avenue special use permit for the radiology and operating room additions that were approved by the village board on December 20, 2021. All invoices have been paid as per the village attorney and engineer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to return the village board escrow balance of $181.33 to Patrick and Hazelyn Corcoran for the 43 Wheeler Ave special use permit that was approved by the village board on November 29, 2023. All invoices have been paid as per the village attorney and engineer.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we have a couple of addendums.
Oh, that was really far down.
I
Yeah,
forgot about the agenda.
yeah.
Is this
Uh,
trustee cooler? Because it's.
Yeah,
Can I have a copy
because
of
she
that?
hasn't had any.
Right. It's also treasurer, right? Or no?
No,
this is
it's really.
Engineering.
Well, it's really DPW,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So Barry, do you want to take that one?
I can do it if
You
you,
can
want
do
me
it?
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Motion to enter into an intermunicipal agreement, IMA, between the Town of Warwick and the Village of Warwick for the joint purchase of an asphalt hotbox trailer, and to authorize the mayor to sign the same, including the approval and authorization and payment to the Town of Warwick in the amount of $17,405.50, which is 50% of shared costs for the purchase of the asphalt hotbox trailer. The total cost of the asphalt hotbox trailer is $34,811, This is an unbudgeted item. Funds to be allocated in budget code 8511.2350.
Second?
Okay. Any comments on that?
So, yeah, discussion,
Yes.
Kevin, anything that you
Those
wanna
hot
add to
boxes do a great job. It's, so hopefully, it's well needed for those guys in the highway department. Because when they fill them, it keeps it hot enough where they don't waste anything. They can keep going. Because if they go on a dump truck and get blacktop, by the time they get done using half of it, it gets cold. So it does make a huge difference. It's a really,
I think it
instead of
lasts
wasting
longer,
half the
too.
blacktop sometimes, so they don't get it out in time, it's a good, it's a good thing to have.
Well, we've gotten a great deal of use out of it already.
Yeah.
So we're grateful. It's a good piece of equipment to have.
Absolutely,
Okay, so we have a second.
What's the, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
what was
go
the maintenance, obligation on that?
The town will maintain it and also house it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
you just have to pay half of it.
We just have to pay half.
right, because it seemed like from the IMA, hold on, let me find it. Hold on a second.
It's number
4?
6. The asphalt hot box shall generally be maintained and/or repaired by the town of Warwick as its sole expense.
It does say owning and insuring shall be shared equally by the parties. Insuring.
Ensuring, but that's if there's something cataclysmic happens. That's not a maintenance coverage.
Cataclysmic.
Someone hits it,
Yeah.
that's what, that's the only thing that really,
And the cost of damage resulting from party's negligence will be the responsibility of that party,
Right. That's
which makes sense.
makes sense.
Out of curiosity, is that able to pave an entire section of a road, or is it more just patching?
it's for patching. So when they go get a load, they can put it in there and it'll stay warm enough, so as they go around patching,
Yeah.
because otherwise if they get in the back of a truck, it gets cold, by the time they use half of it, that's the whole, and then they're dumping half of it out somewhere because it's too cold to use. So you end up saving a lot of the blacktop instead of wasting it.
And you can actually put blacktop back into it that gets cold and it will,
I don't think it's gonna be as good,
Oh, really?
Once they take it, once they take it out, they're gonna use it right away. They're not gonna take it out unless
okay,
it's just, as they go, they'll go pick up a load from the plant and they put it right in.
okay.
And they'll keep it warmer and they take it out as they need each pothole.
Are the other villages making use of the hot
This one, no, we're just,
This is just between the
we're
village of
only
Warwick and the
between us
town.
and you guys. That's it.
Well, it would include the village of Greenwood Lake, correct? Because you are,
Yeah, but they went back on their own with the village of Green Lake. There's some of the stuff, I think.
oh,
Or
really?
some of the stuff they went back on their own.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So that was as of this past year.
okay, I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
they're back and forth with everything and
Okay. Any other questions?
We have the funds for it, since it was unbudgeted, but it's
We
allocated.
do, we do, yeah. Our equipment reserve, actually.
Ah, okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks, Kevin, for being here.
Yeah, thank you. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And then Carly?
Motion to enter into an intermunicipal agreement between the town of Warwick and the village of Warwick for park fund distributions and authorize the mayor to sign the same.
So this is a result. of-
Second.
Oh, sorry. This is a result of the monies received from the Warwick Economic Development LLC, who managed the former prison property, Wickham Woodlands. And at the end of the day, there was a profit, and when that LLC dissolved, the profit was given to the town, and the town kindly is taking a portion of that profit or that money and giving it to each of the villages. So that's a really kind gesture, I think, on the town's part.
Well, it's rightfully so because you are town residents, so, you know, we're trying to do a little bit in all the parks throughout the town.
Yes.
So, because we're trying to do a little, you know, spread it around a little bit throughout the town and do a few things here, a few projects everywhere.
Yeah, it's exciting.
We'll take it.
It's capital improvements, you know, but you know, you don't have to spend it right away. If you have a capital improvement somewhere and you need a little extra money,
Yes.
you know.
Well, we have a new master park plan for Veterans Memorial Park. So
So if you need,
it's-
yeah, there you go. If you need
Yeah.
extra
Great
money,
timing.
if not, you save it for the next project. It's not gonna be
It's
longer.
costed out,
Yes.
yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a second on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and do we have anything else? That's it on addendums, right? So we have to move on to reports, and Trustee Cheney, do you have anything for tonight?
Yeah, with the cooler weather coming in, I'd just like to remind everybody that fats, oils, and greases in the sewer can become a problem. As things cool down below the ground, it tends to cause things to come together, and so that then can obstruct flows in the line and possibly even backups into residences or businesses. So we just want everybody to be aware of that. We want you to be careful what you pour down the sink. You know, wipe out the oils and the greases into the garbage with a paper towel, and keep those things basically out of the sewer system, and you know, we'll be able to operate you're helping yourself, you're helping your neighbors, and everyone down the line.
Good. Maybe we need to do a PSA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I like the idea of that, yeah.
yeah.
Already script.
Well, would we like a visual, because we can send the guys out and see if they can find a Soerberg or a.
Stand at the farmer's
I was
market.
thinking more of like a frying pan and cleaning it out. I was thinking something a little bit more homey.
Okay.
Like how
I know
they,
how to do it, so
How do-
I'd be happy to be in the
okay.
PSA.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I did lead line, you should do.
Yeah,
the-
from the basement.
Anything else?
No?
No. And Carly, do you have anything tonight?
Yeah, so for the last 2 years, we've submitted raise grant applications. We have not yet been successful, but third time may be a charm. So hopefully they'll release the notice of funding opportunity for that in November. Last year it was due in February, and so I would like to pursue that again. And so maybe on an upcoming meeting, we can talk about the scope. I think hopefully, well, you know, maybe we'll modify the scope a little bit. I would really like to pursue West Street and, you know, do whatever we can to get that.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
I mean, I think we have a great scope for, but are you thinking of narrowing it so that we have a better
Yeah.
chance at one?
I was thinking, so last year we submitted we submitted design and implementation planning. And so we submitted for West Street, we submitted for Galloway, which hopefully DOT will do the right thing and we will have our needs met there. We also submitted for the multi-use trail, for which we're now completing a feasibility study. So I think a future year we would want to submit the design for that. We also had submitted for South Street Extension walkability and traffic calming. And it does seem like things have improved there, specifically with the painting, and I think we can continue to explore that, right? But then,
The radars helped, I think.
yeah, and then the state of good repair for the village-wide ADA compliance. So what my hypothesis is that if we have a little bit of funding to contribute, it might be worth actually costing out the whole of what we might need for West Street and doing a benefit cost analysis
That would be good, I think.
and going after the infrastructure funding.
Yeah.
That's my hypothesis.
Okay, good one.
That's good.
Yeah.
So we have a little time to work on that, so that's good.
Yeah.
Do you want to just mention about the multi-use trail kickoff?
Yeah, we had a really excellent kickoff with Barton and LaJudas. The project team seems great there for the feasibility study for the multi-use trail. And so this would be potentially a multi-use trail from the village all the way out to ShopRite.
And that was with the town, of course, they were involved.
Yeah.
Um,
And oh, yes, the town was actually, so Tom Mattingly was with the mayor and I, and so was Supervisor Dwyer. And so it was super collaborative and very optimistic and exciting possibilities.
And a three-hour meeting.
It was, yeah. So we met here, and then we also did a site visit, and we walked and drove the entire stretch.
Yeah.
And we went through, all of the potential navigation of it and all of that. So it was really good.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was great.
And so hopefully the timing of it would be such that if we could potentially submit for Safe Streets for All. I was looking at the schedule. So we wouldn't do for a raise, I think, for this year, but potentially for Safe Streets for All with the grand scheme of if we can get West Street and we can get that multi-use trail, then we could potentially one day wrap around and have a full connection like back behind the schools, and that would be really lovely
It's a
for
good call.
everybody.
Carly's Way. It's got a ring to it.
It does.
The Warwick Way.
Mary, do you have anything?
I do. I just wanted to give you a little backstory on our little Warwick If You Dare self-guided Halloween decorated house. This is a suggestion that came to us from a resident, John DeLucia, who is really into Halloween. He enters Scare the Mayor every year. He's a character. He's great. I spoke to him on the phone, and he helped me put this together tremendously. He got a lot of people to participate, so much so that once we put the map out there, I had more people wanting to participate, so we had to redo it over the weekend. But it's been really sweet. I see people driving and walking it all the time, so thank you for his help. And the interesting thing about him helping is that he's a retired mail person in the village of Warwick. So who better to help you put a map together than retired? So thank you.
Yeah.
And then my second report is last week? I took a ride with the DPW in a snowplow. As far as the discussions we've been having about off-street seasonal parking, just to see what that experience was like as far as getting the trucks around the narrow streets and with obstacles and with cars in the streets. So we did pass the parking restrictions as is, so there is more time to discuss it, but I have a deeper understanding of what the challenges are on both sides. So I'm looking forward to having more of that conversation. And thank you, Mike Moser, for setting that up, and Mike Finelli for driving me around the village. He's incredibly skilled, and I've never been in a vehicle that big or high or anything. It was really amazing.
with a big plow in front of you, right?
Yeah, and that's what was really, I mean, I know nothing about this, nobody expects me to, but what was interesting to me was when you're turning the truck, you also have to like separately like turn the blade, and like then you're dumping salt, and it's like 4 a.m. and you've been doing this for 5 hours. Like, it's a lot. So I have a lot of respect for the whole things, but I do feel like we really do need to implement some sort of system where we could contact people directly, not just for inclement weather parking, but for other reasons too. So if we can start, maybe the first step is think of how we collect information, implement some sort of communication system.
Yep, exactly.
Are we able to use Code Red?
Of course
for
we
that?
are, yes. And I know that in speaking to Supervisor Dwyer, they want to start doing a campaign to get more people engaged in it and using it, because it definitely is effective. And I think that they can pinpoint
Like just village people.
just village or a parameter that would
There is a way in the program, I'm not exactly sure how to do it, but there is a way of just sending it out to certain sections.
Oh, that's good to know.
So is it reserved for emergency bulletins, or is it more advisory
Notification.
notices?
You could do pretty much what you want with it, and they just been using it more for emergency stuff, but, I mean, you could, you know, but then you might start, you know, people might get mad if you start sending too much stuff out on it.
Code Red Halloween Parade, yeah.
Right,
You know,
right.
you know, it's just,
Yeah. There are other ways too. Social media is a good way of getting the more.
if there's a, you know, accident or something going on, you know, that's
Yeah.
where, you know, this way they let the public know, it does work very well.
Yeah.
I like the idea of using it for like public meetings, like community meetings.
Oh, community meetings. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
feedback, listening sessions and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an abuse of
No.
penis.
No, I don't think so.
either.
Or even like public hearings, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or, yeah, village board meetings.
That might get
Water bills and
abusive.
taxes, yeah.
Taxes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna hand this to you, Tom, as liaison to the.
Hold
yeah.
it up over here, Tom, while you talk.
I can hold it up. So
Yeah.
it was really great that, sorry, Mary. Last week we celebrated 40 years in the Tree City program, and from what I hear, I think there's less than 5 municipalities in the state who really had a tree program as long as ours.
That's true.
And the 4th grade student council at Park Avenue, including my daughter, was there, planted a maple tree right in Stanley Demi Park to provide some shade over the little, what do you call it, the tot
lot.
Tot lot. And this was from the student council. It was great. Our shade tree commissioner, Lynn Cheney, was there, Sherwood Stevens. And we even had somebody from, he was a forester from the DEC. I cannot remember.
Michael Callan.
So they recognized this is a big deal to them. So it was a nice celebration. Kids even had cake at 10 in the morning. I let my daughter go. It's fine.
And it was a beautiful cake.
It was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
beautiful.
But it was nice to have that that recognition, and for the DEC to be there. And
Warwick Valley Gardeners, of
well,
course.
sorry, I apologize. Warwick Valley Gardeners, of course, they were there, and they read some poems.
Mary Berrigan.
Mary
from the Shade
Berrigan,
Tree
or other
Commission.
She's the
Commissioner.
newest shade tree commissioner.
My apologies to
No.
Mary.
It's okay.
Anything else I'm forgetting?
Did DPW on hand to assist with the beautiful gold shovels?
With the with the gold shovels, just to be clear, they spray painted it gold. I don't want people thinking we're buying gold shovels here. It gives the wrong message. But no, it was really nice, and with some of the upcoming grant funding through the Clean Energy Communities program, I really would like to see a good portion of that go towards more trees in the village. So we have a long list of aspirations with trees, and I think this is a good opportunity to even feed into that more.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And one other update. So Raina and I, along with Kristen from the planning department and Boris, we met with the International Code Council, and they are the ones who have purchased Municity. It's the software we use in our building department. And they also have a long-standing 20-plus year partnership where they resell Laserfiche, another piece of software that we are aligning to for document management as we streamline the records digitization process. And we took a look at how we're using this Municity software today, and really it was pretty eye-opening. They have a number of other what they call programs of work that we don't use that we could take advantage of. Mm-hmm. And so as we talked about the short-term rental code, they have an ability to have a public-facing portal where someone applying would fill out a form, submit their application fee, can schedule an inspection, and then it can remind when the next inspection is due. That I do think that's the kind of system I think we need to have in place. Whether or not that's the exact one, we need to figure it out. Because otherwise, when you have people dropping off applications and then scheduling inspections. It's just, that can be a bit overwhelming. So to the extent that we can facilitate that, I would be more comfortable having something like that in place prior to approving or starting the short-term rental. Anything I'm missing, Raina? Most of this is included in our existing software licensing. The exception is we will need their help for implementation because there is some custom work based around our processes. I don't yet have an idea on the cost of that. It's unbudgeted. So if this is something we want to move towards this year, we'll have to figure out what that is and where that might come from. Maybe the department, I'm not sure. The building department, maybe it's from our IT budget. So we'll have to look at that. I'll get some costing, but so between short-term rentals, this software can also do fire inspections or can help schedule and remind on fire inspections. So a lot of that administrivia really tends to bog us down.
Yeah.
And so I think we need to do what we can to make sure that's, we can take on more stuff.
Right. Well, we've been taking on a lot. Things have been expanding and,
Yeah.
And responsibility has grown. And so this will be good. This will be perfect.
And the planning and zoning part,
Yeah, good point, Raina. So it also has a program of work or a module around planning and zoning. So today, when an applicant comes, there's a number of documents that form a packet, and those are placed on the website. And but it's a lot of back and forth between the applicant, their engineers and attorneys, and our engineers and attorneys, and the respective board members. So this may be an opportunity to also have a web form where the applicant can upload everything at once, so it's already in our system. Doesn't have to also be scanned and sit in a pile and a check sitting in a drawer.
Sure.
Just although it doesn't sound like a lot of work, but when you have application after application come through and the piles of paper start stacking up, there are more efficient ways to do this.
Yeah. That's great.
Thanks a
I
lot.
think
Tom.
that's it.
Yeah, well, and they can accept payment on the portal, right? You mentioned that.
Yeah.
And also manage escrow accounts.
That's a pretty important one. So today, every time we have, because of the new process, a new application comes in, we form a special escrow account, right? This can kind of do that on our behalf, including the reporting, because the planning department needs to get this down to the treasurer's department and have this kind of record. But if it's all digitized that way, it's there's transparency, accountability, efficiency, all that good stuff.
That's good.
Now I think my update's done.
I have a question for you,
Yeah.
because you've also been submitting the grants for the climate smart communities, and I just wanted to know if they've gotten back to us at all.
No, they have not. So I got your actions were approved, and I know what that equates to, but now I need to get the official grant email.
But they approved the actions?
They did.
Do you mind just telling us reminding us what that is?
Yeah, so just to, let me log in here, refresh everyone's memory. The funding amounts that we would get dropped off as of October 1st. So in some instances quite significantly. So really it benefited us to try to get everything in by September 30th. And it came down to several hours. So, but managed to get those in. In some of the community campaigns we've done with clean heating and cooling and electric vehicles, but also a number of the other actions that we've taken. So there's two different types of grants within the clean energy communities. This is not CSE, this is CEC, sorry for all the acronyms. So there are designation grants, meaning you get 1 star to 5 stars. And when you get 2 stars, 3 stars, now we're up to $100,000 grant and a $50,000 grant. So 100,000 is the 3 star, and 50,000 is the 2 star. So we have those designation grants, and then the action grants with some of those community campaigns. So all in, when you stack it up, we're looking at just under 200,000 that I expect to be coming our way whenever we get the email.
That's great. That's amazing. Yeah.
You said under 200,000?
just under 200,000.
So that's like the bike racks and the,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Trees, pollinator pathways,
Yeah,
too good
it's
to toss stuff. Yeah.
Good.
That's great.
Well, I mean,
Thank you.
we'll have no problem. That'll go fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'd like us to really think about how we can stretch it the best we can.
But we submitted the actions though, so we have to do it with the actions that they approved, right?
No, so the actions are endeavors that we take on, then when we get approved, we meet their criteria, then we get the opportunity to look at the different projects. And so we have to submit the project and they have to approve it.
Oh, I thought
But
that's
it's-
what happened, that's what we had to submit before September 30th was our project
I
proposals.
thought too, and then I got
Oh.
clarity that I just needed to have the work done.
Okay.
So it gave me a little breathing room, which was much
Yeah.
appreciated. So we do have time now, but we should start thinking about it, because once we get those emails, we have 90 days to apply.
Oh, wow.
But, okay, so yeah, we
Yeah.
should maybe, do you think we could talk, maybe we should talk about it at the next board meeting and we could present the
I think so. I
proposed-
mean, once we even get this, we should carve out some time, or whether it's a special meeting for that, because, you know, we want to make sure that, I think there's alignment, that we get input from the public. I joined Sustainable Warwick's, their meeting on, last Wednesday, to talk a bit about this, to get some ideas from them. They've got some great ideas around the composting initiative. And, you know, right now, they're doing a great job, but with the bare minimum of resources. Right? So, I want to explore there some costs and what could we do to fund some of that. And just to remind everyone, you can take one grant and split it across multiple projects, but you can't take multiple grants and stack them to go after one big project.
Right.
That doesn't work.
No.
So it's perfectly okay to take a $20,000 grant and split it four
Yeah.
ways. Like, that's okay.
That's good.
Any other questions on that?
No, great work.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we
Thank
need
you.
to talk about the park grant from the town at the same time that we talk about the use of this 200,000, because the two of them together. So the park grant is for capital improvements to the parks. There's a Venn diagram on the eligibility here. Yeah.
I absolutely agree, and I think that, I mean, just having the master park plan for Veterans Memorial Park is like great timing that exists now.
Yeah.
So Carly, I mean, you know better than anyone what those different areas are that need investment.
Yes.
I'm not saying it all goes to that, Carly.
I know. Okay.
But yeah, that'd be good to start costing these out. Like, we looked at the pollinator pathway. I think you arrived at $17 a square foot or something. Things like that is,
And the bike rack, I think.
Right.
The bike racks.
and things like that, the state absolutely needs to see where the cost breakdowns are, because that's how they expect that will be spent. And we're gonna wanna show them that's exactly where it went.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's possible, so like, and maybe we can pull together the stakeholder advisory group to talk about the 150,000, and then we can update them
That
on
would
the
be great,
730. But I'm
We're due.
thinking that, if we could potentially do some of the exercise path, but also like the kayak launch stuff and the signage and, but,
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be good.
be exciting. Stuff that we could have ready maybe by
Yeah.
the next season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We
Be
can
nice.
spend the money quick, so then you'll want to give us some more.
Well, we don't have that much.
The bird line, that's another one. That'd be
Are
good.
you done?
Yes.
Because I just wanted.
You want me to be done?
Well, no, we can
done.
go on, I just want to quickly report about the New York Forward grant that we have applied for, and the deadline was last week, and we got it in, but I just want to thank a lot of people. First, Millennium Strategies, who were our grant writer partner, part of our team, and that's David Jenkins and El Ayaya. And the task force that we created, Susan Metzger, Jeff Green, Bo Kennedy, and Jerry Schittling, from the Chamber of Commerce. Bo is a developer locally. Jeff is a realtor. Susan is from the Historical Society. So they all had definitely great input in terms of where we were going with this grant. But also they were workers. They were there for our open house, for our listening session, and added a great deal. And then we created an architectural group, local architects, Chris DeHaan, Jeff DeGraw, Chris Collins, Joe Arrace, and Matt Lopinto. And that was fascinating because we went to the most visual people in our community and asked them for their ideas. And that was a lot of fun. And I think it really,
It's a great idea.
yeah, it just kind of came to us and we just said, hey, let's run with this. And so we had a round table and then we also had a follow-up walkabout. And it was the walkabout that was really amazing, where we took copious notes and got that into the grant package. But I want to thank the village board for all the help they gave us along the way, or we were all giving, and the Warwick Valley Chamber of Commerce and the Historical Society and the clerk's office and the office of Building and Planning. And really what makes a grant like this work is all the input from the citizens with their thoughts, their ideas, that made it a stronger story about, bringing our village, our community to that next level. And it was a fun journey. So knock on wood that something comes of it. If anything, we've got some great information that we can act on in the future. So.
And Mayor, I will say that I don't think everyone sees how much you really do behind the scenes. And I know you put a lot into this.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah,
want to
thank
recognize it and say thank you.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you so
but-
much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing you also recognize about having we do a lot of our grant writing in-house, and for a good reason, because there's less translation. So when you have a grant writer, they're very good, they're very gifted, but there's a lot of translation that has to take place and a lot of editing, and so that's the trade-off. They take off some of the stress, but then there's
They add others.
they add others, so that's it, yeah. So, and I know that the town is actually talking to Millennium Strategies about offering their services to the villages, which is a wonderful possibility. So I know you're still in budget, so
Well, I think we're pretty much gonna do that. I think
Yeah.
it's definitely, and then I know we offered all 3 villages to join in for a small fee.
yes. So it was, I think, well worth it, so.
Yeah, I think it would be, because then you have your own portal to get into it, and then, and writing the grants it's an art form. So
Yeah.
if you're good at it, since some of these people are,
Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you. So that's all I have for reporting tonight, but we do have to go into executive session.
Public comment.
Yes, sir.
Second public comment.
Oh, second public comment. I'm sorry. I wasn't even looking at the agenda. Would anybody like to speak to the board tonight?
Yeah, I just have one question.
Yeah.
I didn't know, with 10 Clinton Avenue Extension, is that a new business that's coming?
Oh, no, it's, well, it is. It is going to be a daycare for special needs children. Yeah. So it's in the town, actually. So it's going through the town planning process. But one of the things so it's where it sits, it's in very close proximity to wetlands. And their desire was to connect to the village's sewer system so they wouldn't have to have septic, which environmentally makes perfect sense. So we're excited about what they're going to do there, but also glad that they have the common sense to understand that it is an environmentally sensitive area. So, and maybe they'll be part of the village. That's the other. Hopefully the town will oblige.
anything's possible.
Anything's possible, thank you, Kevin. So we do have to go into executive session.
I just have one question.
Oh, yes, okay.
About your short-term rental, when you start compiling a list, can you maybe because we found out in the town that it's always nice that if there's a noise complaint, have a list, a phone number and a contact number, if the PD already has it, it makes their life a lot easier, because they call them right away, make them come out there.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay, so
Yes.
I was just wondering if you were talking about that,
Yeah.
because it makes the PD's life a lot easier, and then if they start coming out there, then they're not gonna rent to people that are problems. They start vetting their people a lot better.
Yeah, that's good to know.
That's
That's a good
important.
point.
You know, so they, you know, and it does make a big difference, and you're gonna come across a lot of these short-term rentals like we did in town, or LLCs. So you don't know
Yeah.
who it is, and it's
Yeah.
hard to figure out.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
just gives you a little heads up sometimes, you know, as you're doing it, because we've just been doing that for the last 3 years, and it's been a little bit of a project there.
Yeah.
We actually, I think, took from you all the full list
Of
of
the LLC.
folks that are participants in the LLC. So at first we had like a certain amount of ownership, but now
Right.
it's just the full list.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when they do, and sometimes, you know, just have a name with the LLC, because we're finding a lot of them are not local residents. There's people from California or Manhattan owning and renting them out here.
Yep.
There's a lot of them, we're finding a lot of them like that.
Yeah.
You know, just, you know, a little, you know, and, you know, we've been a little tougher now on fines and that too, that people are not complying, because we're finding a lot of them.
I think we have close to 30 in our little village.
I bet you have more.
I
than
think
you
we
don't
have
even know.
more. I think we have more.
That's how many are on Airbnb that I found.
Yeah. I think
And we had to go onto the websites and start trying to identify them, because a lot of people, you know, they're just doing it secretly.
Yeah, we also had, I think one of the things that we've required is their certification number
Yeah.
to be listed.
That's correct.
So that
Little
if we
things,
go
yeah.
on,
And I
yeah.
know that the town has that certification number.
So
Yeah.
there's little things that we've come across already.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate
Thank you
it.
for being
Yeah.
careful. We have not ignored what you've
No,
done,
like
what
I
you've been
said,
through.
you know, and the biggest reason you gotta do it is because the neighbors start complaining about the noise or something, and it's, you know, it's a great revenue source, and you wanna be, you know, friendly, but sometimes you can't intrude on the neighbors too.
Right.
That's
So
correct.
It's gotta be a nice balancing act, and it's tough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I travel frequently for work and for other purposes, and so I often stay in Airbnbs. And as a visitor, I think there's also that's a lot of what we've also been talking about is that some of these protections are consumer protections, like to protect the
Absolutely.
safety and of the visitor as well. So
Yeah.
yeah. Airbnb has 30, 29. It depends on how you shift it, but
Hmm.
30 in the village.
In the village, yeah. We do have to go into executive session, so it would be actually these two.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, good night, thank you.
Thank you. Which two? This?
Medical, financial, and
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss the medical, financial, credit, or employee history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or the proposed acquisition of securities, or sale or exchange of securities held by such public body, but only when publicity would substantially affect the value thereof.
Okay.
Second.
And to seek confidential advice of counsel.
And to seek advice,
Confident.
and to seek the confidential advice of counsel.
Very good.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we will not have any motions or business-related activities once we go back into session, and we will adjourn. Thank you. Tough time today. Oh, all in favor, I should have said.
Hi.
Oh, aye.